Mets. They're only 6.5 out of the wild card, and we've got July, August, and September to go. Interesting, don't you think? So here's what I want to do. I want to look at tonight's games. I've done my homework, Chappie. I hope you're listening, because I know you're a stats kind of guy, and so trying to keep up with the tradition of having everything prepared and doing 2 shows a day, it takes some effort, brother. I'm going to tell you. But we got it together. It came together perfectly. I want to look at that Cub-Pirate game first. 7:05 start. The over and under is 9.5. The Cubs are the favorite. It's Kyle Hendricks coming off of the injured list, going against Joe Musgrove, who's had 2 great outings his last 2 starts. Musgrove is 6-7 on the year. And here's the way the lineup shake out tonight in Pittsburgh. Schwarber leading off for the Cubs. Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, Wilson Contreras, Jason Hayward, Albert Almora, Addison Russell, and Kyle Hendricks. For the Pirates, leading off Adam Frazier, Brian Reynolds, Starling Marte, Josh Bell, Corey Dickerson, Colin Moran, Kevin Newman, Jacob Stallings, and Joe Musgrove. I got a cough. Hold on a second. Excuse me. So I want to talk about a few of these players on each team. Javier Baez on the season hitting .285, 21 home runs, 57 RBIs, and 5 stolen bases. And I guess we could have called this show, What Have You Done For Me Lately? Because that's what I'm going to talk about with all these players. I'm going to talk about their season numbers and what have you done for me lately over the last 5 games. Javier Baez, .263, 5 for 19, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Certainly within parameters, even though the average is down a little bit, 2 home runs in the last 5 games. Certainly worthy of Javi Baez. Jason Hayward, .271 on the year, 14 home runs, 37 RBIs, 5 stolen bases. What have you done for me lately, Jason Hayward? Well, you've hit .333, 6 for 18. You've hit 3 home runs, and you've knocked in 9 runs over the last 5 games. That is something to talk about. That is something to shout about. That is something to cheer about from Mr. Jason Hayward, Chicago Cub great. How about Albert Almora, who's hitting .253 on the year, but over his last 5 is hitting .357. And then I want to bring up Addison Russell for the Cubs. .246 on the year, 5 home runs, 12 RBIs. Some discussion about him earlier today. His rookie year, a couple years ago, drove in 90 runs. Then he had this domestic dispute situation going on. He's not been the same player in Chicago. He's been playing second base regularly. Over the last 5 games, he's hitting .294. My idea is they're showcasing Addison Russell. They want to conclude him in a trade package, and they're looking a starting pitcher. Thank you, Alzolay, for your blow-up last night. But they're looking a starting pitcher, and they can replace Addison Russell with Bote. Talk to me, Chappie. I mean, you know the Cubbies better than me, but I see replacements in the major leagues ready to move in. Russell is expendable. As part of a package, can't you just see him going somewhere? For the Pirates, Adam Frazier, 4 doubles last night. Brian Reynolds hitting .360. Josh Bell, .308 for the year, 25 homers, 77 RBIs over his last 5. And this includes a big game last night, I understand. But he's hitting .286 with 4 homers and 9 RBIs over his last 5. Corey Dickerson, 5 for 20, .250 average, a homer, 3 RBIs over his last 5. He did not homer last night. And Corey Dickerson, fresh off the IL, is hitting .310. He's a great hitter. He's hitting behind Bell, in front of Moran. And I look for big second half. Excuse me. Not sure what I didn't swallow. But anyway, I'm looking for a big second half from Corey Dickerson. And then there's Kevin Newman. I mean, where did he come from? .327 average on the year, over his last 5, .333, 6 for 18, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. All of a sudden, the Pirates are becoming an offensive force. And Joe Musgrove, who I told you is pitching tonight, on June 21st against San Diego, he went 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. His last outing, June 27th, at Houston, 6 innings, 9 hits, no earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts. So over his last 13 innings, he struck out 13, he's walked none, and given up 1 earned run. Let's see if that continues tonight in Pittsburgh at Pitcher's Ballpark against the Cubs, who the Pirates beat last night 18-5. I want to see how far Kyle Hendricks goes tonight as well. This is his first start off the IL. Let's keep our eye on that one. The next game is Miami, Zach Gallen, rookie pitcher at Washington. Patrick Corbin. Gallen with a 3.60 ERA, Corbin with a 3.71 ERA. Washington, the prohibitive favorite. The over and under is 9. Here's the lineup for Miami: Miguel Rojas, Harold Ramirez, Garrett Cooper, Brian Anderson, Starling Castro, Neil Walker, Jorge Alfaro, Cesar Puleo, and Zach Gallen. For Washington, leading off will be North Carolina State Wolfpack product. Yes, you heard me. Trey Turner, Adam Eaton, Anthony Rendon, Juan Soto, Howie Kendrick, Ryan Zimmerman, Victor Robles, Yan Gomes, and Patrick Corbin. A few players I want to look at for Miami. Miguel Rojas at the top of the order. And you look at that name, like, yeah. He's kind of an Eric Sogard kind of guy. Well, that ain't bad. That ain't chop liver either. Rojas is hitting .287. Not a lick of power. No home runs. He does have 6 stolen bases, but he's an on-base machine. His last 5 games, 8 for 21. A stolen base, that's a .381 batting average. Multiple positional eligibility around the infield. If you need a player, a bench player to fill in when guys are off, Miguel Rojas is not a bad option. Harold Ramirez hitting .307 on the year with 2 homers and 19 RBIs. The last 5 games, he's 7 for 21 with 5 RBIs. Excuse me, that's Garrett Cooper. Ramirez is 5 for 20 over his last 5 games with .250 with 3 RBIs. Garrett Cooper is 7 for 21 with 5 RBIs, hitting .333 over his last 5, and he's hitting .317 with 7 homers and 27 RBIs on the season. Those are the top 3 batters in that Miami offense, and they're not bad. In fact, they're good. Miami, quietly, at the bottom of the division, only 3.5 games behind the New York Mets. They're hitting the ball. We know they can pitch. They're not going to make the playoffs. Not this year. But they're grooming a team that is competitive, that can play. And these top 3, and Brian Anderson, 4th, is not shabby either, who can hit the ball. For the Nationals, Anthony Rendon hitting .311 on the year, 19 homers, 58 RBIs. Last 5 games, .286 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Victor Robles, he's hitting better the last 5 games. He's .244 on the year with 12 homers, 36 RBIs, and 11 stolen bases. Over his last 5 games, .263 average, 5 for 19, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. And let's see here, Phil Chappie. Russell would be a deal for a team. I agree. But I think he's a trade bait. I think he's a trade piece. And Newman, I'm telling you, what's this in Jerry voice? I'm just changing my voice for you a little bit, Chappie. Well, I know you guys are listening out there, and you got to have some enthusiasm, right? So I'm trying to make it, give you something to hang on to. But Robles could be a big key to Washington's second half. He's hitting 20 points over the last 5 games above his season average. He's had 2 stolen bases, a homer, plays every day. He's improving defensively. Yeah, he's aggressive. Yeah, he's going to swing at balls he shouldn't swing at. But he can play. Now, somebody's been slumping here over the last 5. Juan Soto. 2 for his last 14. Those 2, though, have been home runs. That's a 143 average over his last 5. He's at .297 on the year, 14 home runs, 52 RBIs, 5 stolen bases. Consider that just a mini slump, I think, but he does have the 2 hits as home runs. That's not a bad lineup. I wish they could find more playing time for Howie Kendrick. Yeah, that bat can hit. And Ryan Zimmerman, I think, is clogging it up. Matt Adams, I don't know why he's not playing tonight. Gallen's a right-hander, but they just have this man crush in Washington for Ryan Zimmerman, apparently. I know Adams isn't Babe Ruth, but he can hit the long ball, and he does really well against right-handers, but he's not in that lineup tonight for Washington. As we move along to Boston at Toronto, that Yankee-Red Sox series in England, 50 runs scored in 2 games. Whoa. I mean, the offense was clicking. Now it's time to see what kind of pitching they can come up with. And tonight in Toronto at Rogers Center, it's David Price for the Red Sox, 5-2 with a 3.36 ERA. At Toronto, Trent Thornton, the UNC Tar Heel product. Oh, yeah, 2-5. Boston, the favorite, over and under 9.5. Here's how they line up. Betts leading off. Devers batting second. Xander Bogaerts third. J.D. Martinez 4. Andrew Benintendi 5. Christian Vasquez 6. Jackie Bradley Jr. batting 7th. Michael Chavis 8. And Brock Holt batting 9. And for the homestanding Toronto Blue Jays, Eric Sogard DHing, Vladimir Guerrero at third, Lourdes Gurriel in left, Justin Smoke at first, Randall Grichuk at center field, Cavan Biggio at second, Freddie Galvis, the author of 2 home runs yesterday against Kansas City, at shortstop. Brandon Drury's in right, and Danny Jansen is catching. And this could be a slug fest. Over the season, Rafael Devers is at 322. I mean, he started off slow, but he is killing the ball. And over his last 5 games, he's 10 for 22. That's a 455 clip. J.D. Martinez is at 298 on the year, 18 home runs, 47 RBIs. The cleanup hitter for the world champs, he's 9 for 20 in his last 5 games. That's a 450 average. In that span, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. The player that really, though, that you look at his overall numbers, if you weren't following him all year, but I do, how about Jackie Bradley Jr.? Yeah, let's hear it for Jackie. I mean, he's at 236. I get that. He's 9 homers, 28 RBIs, 6 stolen bases. But over his last 5 games, he's 9 for 18 with 2 home runs. That's a 500 batting average. And he may be available in a lot of leagues. Devers, Martinez, Bradley. I tell you, Christian Vasquez has been hitting lately. Chavis, he's on and off. They're figuring him out. Betts is going to get hotter. The Red Sox, they're not in the lead for the wild card, but do you really ever count them out? I mean, as a Yankee fan, I feel like the Red Sox, like Lincoln, should have felt about Ford Theater. Never turn your back on them. They're there. For the Blue Jays, Sogard, I told you he hit. June, like 370. No joke. But Lourdes Gurriel, 318 on the year, 14 home runs, 33 RBIs. I don't know what they gave him to eat and drink when he got sent down to AAA. He started the year in Toronto. He was hitting like 156, playing second base miserably. They sent him down to AAA. They put him in the outfield. He's now the left fielder. He plays every day. He bats third in the with 9 RBIs over his last 5 games. And a home run. And they're going to get younger. Look for them to trade Freddie Galvis at the deadline. He just hit 2 home runs yesterday. Now's a great time to trade Freddie Galvis, actually. And bring up Bo Bichette, who is a hitting machine at AAA. Can play shortstop. He may not be the best shortstop in the organization, but he's ready to come up to the majors. Look for them to make that trade and get even younger. I tell you, another guy's been hitting for Toronto lately. Danny Jansen's starting to come around out of that catcher position. Baltimore's in Tampa tonight. Tampa, the big favorite, Vegas line-wise. Over and under is 8.5. Wojciechowski for Baltimore, a rookie against veteran, almost ace Charlie Morton. 8-2 on the year, 2.43 ERA. Baltimore lines up this way: Villar, Dwight Smith, Mancini, Chance Sisco, Anthony Santander, Rio Ruiz, Hanser Alberto, Chris Davis at first, and Stevie Wilkerson in center field. And for the Rays, it's Austin Meadows, Brandon Lau, Tommy Pham, G-Man Choi, Avisail Garcia, Kevin Kiermaier, Willie Adames, Joey Wendell and Mike Zanino.